Welcome back to another one of our mini tutorials. So very briefly, we've been talking about campaigns and going through setting campaigns up, which are automated emails that we send out through your email address that you set up, not Podcast Hawk. It goes out as you. So it could be Stuart at acme.com or Stuart Podcast Hawk, whatever it may be. It's going out through your email address. And we walk through setting these emails up and how we help save you time by looking at inserting the first name, last name, podcast title, whatever it may be, into these emails that go out. I just want to explain a little bit about the mechanics as well. So these templates you can populate or write yourself or whatever it may be. What happens is if we get a reply, these emails stop sending, full stop, it stops. If we don't, we send the next email. So if we look here, number 3, etc., they go out, right? That's how the mechanics of it works. That's the time saving aspect. So with one, not a lot of time saving, reaching out to 50 podcasts, and you've got to customize each email to say, hello, whatever the podcast host name is, what the title of the podcast, etc. is, and then remember and have a tracking spreadsheet to follow up and sort of, I've got a reply here, I didn't get a reply. Oh, we do all of that. So imagine that with 50 or 100 or 200 podcasts, whatever it may be that you're trying to reach out. And we talked about the spam score on the previous as well. So that's the mechanics of writing emails to go out on a campaign. Now we'll talk about actually getting ready to launch that campaign and get it going live, and what that means from a sort of timeline perspective and functionality aspect as well. If you look here, key component at the top. Now, this has only got one podcast in it, so it's one email. But imagine you're sending from your email account and you don't want it to get caught up in a spam trap. You don't want it to be tagged for spam. There's two elements to that. One is if you're going to send lots of emails and your email is not being used a lot for your main domain, i.e. Stuart at podcasthawk.com, then set a lookalike domain up. Buy a lookalike domain for like $4.99, and it could be Stuart at podcasthawk.co, and you can send from that and warm that up as well, so you don't get caught, or your main domain doesn't get flagged. Now, the other element is around actually the start date and getting that started. So it could be that you're looking to do this tomorrow, today, next month. There may be a timeline around it, so you can set a date when you want this to actually start and start sending those emails. And if we look back at the rationale behind that is you could have some work activities, or you try to time things, or actually you don't want to send it out now because you're not ready to get on shows. So you may want to do that in the future, but do the research now. The other component is around signatures. Now, it may be like me, I have some personal stuff that I like, and I have some business stuff. So if I'm reaching out to be on car shows, I want to reach out as me, whether it's an individual, i.e. myself, because I love car shows, and I'm going to talk about that. Because actually, if I'm reaching out to B2B SaaS companies to talk about whether you like channel and such, that's a consulting business. I won't be a podcast that related to that. Car shows aren't interested. So a signature is attached to your email that goes out and just defines who you are, what you try to represent for that email that's going out to those podcasts. And again, you can exclude the email. So if you've already built loads of podcasts and campaigns and stuff, you don't want it to go out to the same ones again. It may drop in there by error, etc. Then yeah, we'll stop that. And then finally for this piece is customization. So what that means is I've got a list of podcasts that I really like and I want to be on. I've reached out to a lot, but there's some that I think I really make a difference on. And by reaching out to them in a more sort of personalized fashion, even though we are personalized, we've done hello, first name, etc., but in a more personalized fashion, I've got a higher chance of being on there. So what we allow you to do with this very end piece is select a number of shows that you'd like to customize those emails for. And in this sense, we've got the details of the show up here, see SAMO and the episode dates and etc. Normally with shows that are a little bit bigger or been going longer, this obviously hasn't been going that long, they'd have more details here. So we'd have a website, we'd have Twitter, we'd have LinkedIn, of that. So we could go and look at those sites and get a bit more What's their social metrics? How do they talk on social? What's their audience on there? What's their engagement like? Great, let's go and reach out to them. We can listen to some of the shows as well. We can pull them all in and we can say, well, actually, let's look at a strategic account manager's guide to cybersecurity. I'm going to talk about that as well. Who else has been talking about that? What was the guest that was on there? Can I reference that? Can I talk about a minute 32 on episode XYZ? You talked about this. It shows that you have an interest in that podcast and the host, that you actually want to be on there and understand their audience and can talk about the subject matter and that sort of thing. Again, it's just not generic. So you've got to, it's an activity that you're trying to do to, it's like getting on TV. It's like any creative sort of piece. You try to get on a show and say, why should I be on the show? What value can I bring to your audience? How can I help you around that? So again, it's just a way of customizing those final sort of last stages and get started. You can save that, customize it. You could add some different elements to it. And that again is on all the different emails before you get started. And then literally that's it. You're ready to go. You can launch that campaign. Got a magic rocket there and that will go. And what will happen when you hit that button is it'll take that podcast or podcasts. It'll start to send emails on the day that you said, and any emails you get a reply on. You'll get a reply in Podcast Talk in the mail section here, and you'll get a notification. You'll see that in the campaign details, and also in your own email, because obviously it's sending from your email. And any that you don't get a reply, we'll keep sending email. So that's a whirlwind tour, a little bit longer than usual about campaigns, and we'll stop there and we'll move on to the next one. And yeah, see you shortly.